The Russell Westbrook dilemma has been a major one for the Lakers this season. He's been in LA, not because he was needed, but for lack of options. There are a couple of deals in the pipeline, and the Indiana Pacers are particularly interested, but other franchises could also move for Westbrook. Let's take a look at one trade in particular, with the Chicago Bulls and Westbrook's performances so far this season, starting with the current Westbrook situation. If anyone else was putting in the performances that Westbrook was coming up with this season, they might have stayed in LA for longer. Unfortunately, it's Westbrook's contract that's the biggest issue. You simply can't justify paying that much money for someone who comes off the bench. There's no question that the Lakers will trade Westbrook. The only question is when. Thing is, franchises tend to wait till December and even wait out till January too, and then opt for a trade right at the end of the deadline. They have their reasons, but can they afford to wait? As we've already mentioned, the Lakers know there are deals ready to be done. The Pacers in particular are only waiting for the Lakers to give in to their demands. Give up the draft picks alongside Westbrook, and the trade will be done with Miles Turner and Buddy Hield going the other way. But apparently, like other franchises, the Lakers want to wait until after New Year's Eve to explore any deal. It's just the way NBA franchises work. Despite the 15th of December kicking in, there are very few deals that actually go through in December. Although, it might also be because the Lakers not wanting to seem desperate and hoping that Westbrook keeps up his form, which, by the way, has been phenomenal this season. Moving on, will the Lakers rewind the clock? Not too long ago, the Lakers were presented with the chance of signing DeMar DeRozan to their roster. It was a move that made perfect sense, and given his volume for scoring, it appealed to everyone, except the Lakers front office and LeBron James himself. The organization reached a point where they had to pick between Russell Westbrook and DeRozan, and as we now know, the Lakers went with Westbrook. Now, hindsight is a beautiful thing, but we don't need to rely on it to tell you that it was a poor decision. Everyone back then knew too, purely on the basis of the contrasting style of play, that Westbrook to the Lakers wasn't the cleverest of ideas, and that's exactly what everyone realized when the deal went through. However, the Lakers, led by Rob Pelinka, now have a chance to rewind the clock. It might have taken a couple of years, but they're interested in bringing DeMar DeRozan to LA. DeRozan has been in great touch this season, like he always is, scoring for fun in a very poor Bulls team that is really not going anywhere. Could the Lakers turn to DeRozan to address their poor season? It could happen, but there are debating theories about it. But most important of all, would the Bulls let him go? As per the rumors, they could be tempted into it, and while we'll look at that in a moment, the question is, would it make sense to bring in DeRozan now when he's 33? Now the Bulls could entertain the deal should they decide to blow it up. We've already pointed out that the Chicago Bulls are going nowhere. They've got some major issues with their team and are labeled as the most depressing team in the NBA right now. And it's true too. They've got no plans. With the current roster, they aren't good enough to challenge for a playoff spot or perhaps even a play-in one, but they have all the players who keep them just about afloat. Hope is a good thing, but not in this case, when it's obvious that the players aren't good enough to take them through and not too poor to let them tank. So, many analysts seem to believe that the ideal decision would be to blow it all up. It would certainly make a lot of sense, and if they do decide to pursue tanking, then the first step to take would be to get rid of their aging superstars like DeMar DeRozan and Nikola Vucevic. Luckily for the Bulls, there's a team desperate for those two players, in particular, and it could make for the most obvious of trades. Westbrook going the other way gives the Bulls the advantage of clearing the wages once his contract runs out, while they get rid of two players on the wrong side of the 30s too. Most importantly, the Bulls can also get themselves in the hat for Victor Wembanyama, and that might be a franchise-altering decision if they do get lucky enough to land him. Let's talk about, will DeRozan fit the bill for the Lakers? Rob Pelinka has meanwhile pointed out on many occasions that they'll only opt for a deal if they get talent, and that'd be the only way he gives up the picks. Those comments came after the rumors emerged about the Lakers pursuing a deal for the Pacers duo of Hield and Turner, but as it turns out, Pelinka isn't quite sold on them. Instead, he's interested in bringing Vucevic and DeRozan for some reason. While it doesn't make a lot of sense from the future perspective, given the Lakers should be adding younger talent instead of two players well into their 30s, it might indicate the win-now strategy. Pelinka said that he wants talent and wants the coach to make it work when he brings the talent in, but the thing is, fit also matters, and that might not be the brightest of ideas. DeRozan is a consistent scorer, but he's poor defensively, and in terms of playoffs, if a team gets to pick on him for 7 matches, the Lakers will be in a lot of trouble. It might still work, but it's not the most ideal of deals for the Lakers to be pursuing, and it seems that they're not learning from their mistakes. Pelinka was awarded an extension despite some horrible decision-making. It looks as if he's ready to repeat that mistake once again. In fact, it would be more clever to try to sort out a deal and bring Alex Caruso back if you're trying to rewind the clock instead of DeRozan and gamble on Lonzo Ball's knees. opportunities. Now, let's look at how Westbrook is saving his career. After an extremely poor season in the NBA, Westbrook has realized that adaptability might be the key to saving his career. In fact, he may have taken a leaf straight out of LeBron's book after so much general talk about how he adapted to the lack of athleticism creeping in and how he changed his game to remain effective. It's great to learn from the best, and it's pretty nice to see that Westbrook has done that to his own game, even though it may have meant swallowing his pride somewhat. The talk was about Russ not accepting the sixth man role last year, and if he'd remained stubborn, this season, it could have been fatal to his career, because then not many teams would have agreed to sign him on a bigger contract. Now though, he's accepted his role and is absolutely excelling in it. Westbrook's coming up with a few triple-doubles in his recent games and double-doubles in almost every other game, and that impact has helped the Lakers get their season back on track, and it's done the same for Westbrook's career too. Not to mention, the decreased playing time is doing wonders for him too. He seems fresh, and his pace against the tired legs of the opposition is a newfound threat in Westbrook's arsenal. Adding to that, Westbrook's changed role could get him another big move. Russell Westbrook won't be getting another contract as big as the one he's currently on, but things were looking far bleaker only last year. Now though, he has a great chance of getting another big contract for one of the many sides in the NBA that could do with his expertise, especially in his new role. The 34-year-old has clearly shown that he has a lot to offer, and with a cheaper contract, there will be many teams ready to pounce on him in free agency. The greatest added point that comes with Westbrook is his infectious energy. As Darvin Ham has pointed out, that energy is a big reason behind the Lakers staying motivated during games, and it immediately catches on with other players too. And for a player who had teams built around him, Westbrook is doing a great job of becoming more of a team player with this decreased role. It signals that he's selfless. Plus, his numbers say it all as well. He's averaging 14.7 points, 6.1 rebounds, and 7.4 assists this season in an all-around playing role. Not to mention, he has more than a steal per game and a block every other game. That three-point shooting is poor, but he compensates for it well enough. An unnamed NBA executive pointed out that Westbrook's adaptability will be very highly appreciated by NBA teams in pursuit of the 34-year-old, and he might just have breathed new life into his career. Lastly, Westbrook's change needs to be lauded. It's a major ask to demand a former MVP to change his role. Allen Iverson couldn't do it, and many others struggled too, but we need to appreciate that Westbrook has embraced it and filled it to perfection. Do you need scoring? Westbrook dropped 24 against the Pacers a few games back. You need creativity and playmaking? Call Westbrook, who shelled out 11 assists against the Bucks with 0 turnovers. And Dwayne Wade, of all people, wants the fans to acknowledge this effort from Russ. He said, "So at this age, at this time, with this team right now, the best situation for Russ was to come off the bench and be able to have the freedom that he has to just be Russ." After all, Wade definitely knows a thing or two about changing your role. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think it makes sense for the Lakers to sign DeMar DeRozan? And what do you make of Westbrook's adaptability in his new role? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.